Take a walk with us through our riverside parks as we explore the diversity of our local ecosystems and the efforts Cincinnati is taking to advocate for our pollinators. Welcome to early spring in Cincinnati, Ohio, where native flowers are in bloom and pollinators inspire us in our sister city partnership with Nancy. The Cincinnati hills roll alongside the Ohio River, where our parks exhibit the diversity of native plants and the hustle of its winged pollinators. Cincinnati parks are located throughout the urban city space and along the riverfront. There are 3 interconnected parks along the banks of the Ohio River: Smale Park, Sawyer Point Park, and Yeatman's Cove, and Theodore M. Berry International Friendship Park. Smale Park features gardens, interactive playgrounds, a splash pad, and a panoramic walking paths. Sawyer Point and Yeatman's Cove honor the ecology of the Ohio River and the history of Cincinnati. Ted Berry International Friendship Park serves as a lasting tribute to world unity and global understanding. Beginning at the western end of the Riverside Parks is Smale Park, which features native flowers. With over 1,800 native plants to Ohio and thousands of tiny critters that carry their pollen for them, all it takes is a moment of time and a bit of curiosity to get lost in their wondrous world. Different flowers will use shapes, sizes, colors, smells, and mimicry to appeal to native pollinators. Over the last decade, Cincinnati has increased the diversity and abundance of native pollinator plants in their parks, wild spaces, and urban spaces. Cincinnati parks include a mixture of native and non-native plants. When planting for pollinators, it's important to include plants that host and nourish as many pollinators as possible. Climate change has had a profound effect on the Earth's weather. Climate change has impacted the natural rhythms of weather, the behavior of animals, and the blooming of flowers. One of the most impacted populations by climate change are pollinators, who are facing unprecedented difficulties as they struggle to survive. The warming of the Earth's climate has caused plant species to bloom an average of half a day earlier each year. That can result in the growing season of some species now beginning up to a month earlier compared to 45 years ago. At this rate, there is a risk that pollinators, such as bees, can end up out of sync with the plants that they've historically pollinated. Pollinators help plants become fertilized, as well as produce seeds, fruits, and young plants. Well-known pollinators include bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, but moths, beetles, wasps, and even bats also help facilitate the almost invisible ecosystem service. Ohio is home to more than 500 native bees, 140 butterflies, and over 3,000 moth species that frequent our native flowers, but other essential pollinators such as flies, wasps, beetles, ants, and hummingbirds also facilitate the almost invisible ecosystem. From the buzzing pollinator eastern bumblebee that shakes pollen out of flowers, or the monarch butterfly that passes through on their migration north from Mexico, planting specifically for native bees and butterflies will keep a strong pollinator-friendly ecosystem. Alongside the Cincinnati riverfront, European native honeybees pollinate a wide variety of flowering plants. Although not native to North America, their colonies have adapted to the Cincinnati landscape since 1622. Today, honeybees are considered naturalized in North America. Cincinnati's highly social bees are the honeybee and bumblebee. Honeybees collect pollen and nectar as food for the entire colony, and as they do this, they pollinate plants. Bumblebees mainly forage for pollen rather than nectar and transfer more pollen to the pistils of flowers that each visit. Native bees play an important role in co-evolving alongside native flora and dependent on the conservation of native habitat. Local gardening groups are converting unused properties to community gardens. The City Pollinator Project and other similar projects are planting pollinator plants to enhance the environment for pollinators. You don't have to go outdoors to observe the beauty and science of plants and pollinators. Cincinnati's Lloyd Library is premier global repository of books on plants and insects. This live collection was founded in the 1870s. Over the years, the Lloyd's collection grew to international stature, and today the collection includes 250,000 items dating back to the 1400s and continuing through the present. The Lloyd has one of the best botanical art collections in the world, featured in the Lloyd Library Expedition, Incredible Insects. The Lloyd welcomes visitors from around the world. Last year, users from 140 countries visited the Lloyd remotely. Anyone who appreciates nature and plants can find a purpose there. France is in the top 10 of those visitors. Pollinator-friendly planted garden with a water source and soil provides a rich environment for insects and bees to pollinate plants that we all need to survive and contribute to mitigating the damaging effects of climate change on our world. All pollinators are local, and every effort you make to save the bees can save the world. This is the core to the mission of the Sister Cities, which is to promote peace through mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation, one individual and one community at a time. We are deeply honored and appreciative of the partnership between Cincinnati and Nancy over the last 30 years. We look forward to the time when you can visit and we can walk alongside the Riverside Parks, Nancean and Cincinnatian, into the future for another 30 years.